Hello, my name is Jason Spitzer, and want to make a very quick, hopefully very brief video about an upcoming mission trip that I will be going on. And let me just give a little brief summary. So my name is Jason Spitzer. I'm a member of Hiles Baptist Church. It's a small independent Baptist church located in Chesterfield, Virginia. Hi friends, hi family, hi church family. So I want to tell you guys a little story. And it goes like this. Last July, I was sitting in church in July of 2014, and the pastor mentioned how a couple of the members of my church who know the language of Japanese, one of them had been over to Japan, would like to go over to Japan to spread the word of God, to be missionaries, to get people led, help people be led to salvation, to find Christ. And when I was sitting there in church, it felt like God was talking to me. And what I just said right there is something that people who are not Christians, who don't understand it, or have not had God speak to them, don't understand what I'm trying to say. I don't mean that God sat there and he spoke to me, like I felt him, like I heard him speak, Jason, go over to Japan, be a missionary. But I felt him say that. I heard him say that, if that makes any sense. And I feel and I believe in my heart 100% that God told me that day, Jason, I want you to go over to Japan, and I want you to be a missionary, and I want you to do my will, and I want you to help lead people to Christ, and I want you to do my bidding. And all throughout the Bible, we hear of stories of God using mortals to do his will. It's all in this book. And God is God. God could have made the ark himself. He could have put two and two animals together. He could have killed Goliath. He could have freed the Hebrews from servitude and slavery in Egypt. He could have done it all. But he chooses to use man for some greater purpose or design that we as mortals can't really understand. Maybe he just wants to team up with us. Maybe he wants us to learn and grow on our own spiritual journey in our own ways. And so, I was sitting in church and that happened. And, I kind of dismissed it. And then a few days later, after days and days and days of feeling like God was saying, hello, I told you to go over to Japan and to do my will. And after days and days of hearing this and feeling this presence on me, I finally listened and I answered. And I prayed. And again, it was like, go, I'm telling you. So, called my pastor, met with him, met the two people who are in my church who are doing it, and I've been learning the language of Japanese for well over 10 months now, and I have been learning more about the Bible, more about what it is to be a Christian, how to lead people to Christ, how to help lead them, how to answer questions for them, how to comfort them, how to be someone who can help them on their spiritual journeys, and ultimately how to be a missionary. Now, a lot of people will say, well, Jason, why aren't you going over to some place that needs it? Japan, that sounds like you're going over there for a vacation. Why don't you go over to Haiti or South Africa or Iraq or somewhere in South America or someplace domestically that needs it, like Alaska or Michigan or, any of these all other places around the world. Well, this is true. But there's two reasons. One, I felt like God, and I need to stop using that word. I know that God is telling me to go over there. He's telling me. And I already resisted him for a few days and kept on having that knocking on the back of my head. And I finally answered. So I'm going to go over there because he's telling me to. And I will do his work for him on this earth. I will be a missionary for him. The second reason is this. Not a lot of people realize this, but Japan has barely a 2% Christian population. They are a very densely, highly compact, modern nation. I don't know the exact population numbers, but it's well in the millions. And for 2% of their entire population to be Christian, that to me is a need. 50% of their population is nothing. They may have been born or raised Buddhist or Shinto or any of the other religions out there, or even Christian, but they don't have a religion. In fact, it's so bad over there with their 50% that some employers will not hire you if you're a Buddhist or if you're a Shinto. And so what they'll do is they'll get a job. They'll say, okay, well, I'm a Buddhist. They'll move on to another job, or they'll quit or get fired, and they'll go to another job, and they'll say, well, we won't hire Buddhists. We'll only hire Shintos. Oh, well, I'm a Shinto. And Shinto is the equivalent of the Greek and Roman religion of polytheistic multiple gods, but in Japan. And we all know what Buddhism is. And then about 20% of their population is Shinto. And then about another 20% of their population is Buddhist. And then Christianity falls in between this small amount that's left over. Now, so I feel, and I know in my heart, that God is calling me over there. He's telling me to do his will, to help lead people over to Christ, to help get them saved so that they won't die and go to hell. Now, a lot of people say, well, what if you only get one person saved? What if you lead one person to Christ? Well, there is a man in my church, and the person who led him to Christ was one man. And that man that's in my church now, that was led to Christ by one man when he was a child, has helped lead countless people to Christ. So I might go over there and I might help get one person led to Christ. I might go over there and help get 1,000 led to Christ by me being over there immediately, by talking to those people. But each one of those people might go on to help lead countless others to Christ. Now, I am not going over there for a vacation. I'm not going over there to have fun. I'm not going over there to see the sights. I'm not going over there to shop. I'm not going over there to enjoy myself and indulge myself. I'm going there to work. I'm going over there to do God's will. I'm losing money by doing this. I'm not going to be at work for 18 days. I'm going to be out of the country in a foreign land. And I've been doing what I need to do to prepare myself for almost a year now. The language is tough, and I will admit that I'm not as good as I should be with the language, but I believe that God will help me on the way there. So this video turned out to be a lot longer than I thought it was going to be, and I apologize. So what I would like to humbly and respectfully ask is that you go to the link that is provided and associated with this video. It should be GoFundMe, and it should have the information already there. And please donate as much as you can modestly and humbly and affordably do. I don't want to put anybody in a financial stress or financial bouts. But if it's $5, guess what? That's $5 more than we had. If you feel like you can donate $5 every week, that's great. We have until this July is when we're going to be leaving. July 15th. I believe it's 15th. Yeah, it's 15th. If you want to save up and donate all at once, closer to it, that's fine too. But any and all donations would be greatly appreciated. So I ask that you help us out. You help me do what God is telling me to do. And really thankful. I've never felt like God has talked to me in my entire life. I've been a saved Christian for a little over a year. I was raised a Southern Baptist my entire life. I fell out of it when I was a young adult. I'm 27 now. And having that fateful encounter with my pastor when I used to work at a gun shop, and him help leading me to Christ with a bunch of antique revolvers around me, was the best decision I ever made in my entire life, because I would have been lost without it. And I'm so thankful that Christ died for me. And I don't deserve salvation. And I know it. But I'm so thankful. So, my name is Jason Spitzer, and the link should be provided in the description of this video. Thank you very much. God bless. Y'all have a wonderful day.